Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man wala. We started the subject of wudu, ablution, and before we go into the details of this subject, yesterday an important point we mentioned is that certain things in our deen, and many things actually, especially the practical things, have been practiced in a certain way and inherited by each generation from the generation above it, such as the way we pray, the way we make wudu, the adhan, the things that we do on a regular basis, even the recitation of the Quran. So I say this because you will find some people who try to make you doubt parts of your religion and say to you, okay, how do you know that this is how it's done, and so on. Certain things are well established and being practiced all the time, round the clock. Round the clock there's people praying, right? Round the clock there's adhan. Round the clock people making wudu. Round the clock people reciting the Quran. So those things are so well embedded in our daily life that it's impossible for any mistake to, or for any part of those acts or rituals or even the Quran to be lost. It's impossible. Round the clock there's people reciting the Quran, and round the clock people are teaching their children, and the Quran is involved in the daily life. In marriage there's recitation of the ayat, in courts there's recitation, in educational institutions there's recitation, in salah there's recitation, in markets, everywhere. People at night are reciting, during the daytime they are reciting, because you laugh at those people who try to attack Islam and want Muslims to doubt the basics. And this is one of their tricks. They don't go into the details of the religion to make you doubt it. No, they want to go to the core of your religion, the Quran itself, or the Sunnah itself, or the prayer itself. Okay, but so it's a big joke. If we even want, it's even a joke to try to argue with those people and prove to them something that is a fact. This is like when the sun is shining and everybody can see the sun, and somebody says to you, "Oh, prove to me the sun is shining." So start giving him pieces of evidence. "Oh, don't you feel the heat? Don't you see?" And you start describing the sun to him. That makes your case even weaker. When you start giving evidence for something that's obvious, right? Ibn Taymiyyah says a nice line of poetry. He says, وَلَيْسَ يَصِحُّ فِي الْأَذْهَانِ شَيْءٌ إِذَا احْتَاجَ النَّهَارُ إِلَى دَلِيلِ. He says if we need to give evidence for something as obvious as daylight, then basically nothing makes sense anymore. We will have no facts in our life. Everything is gone. Correct? So we keep going. Of course, as we know, the wudu, the ablution, is a precondition for the salah. And the ayah is very clear on this. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِذَا قُمْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيكُمْ. This verse describes the ablution in detail, and it shows that you cannot make salah, you cannot pray without ablution. And there's multiple ahadith on this matter as well. Hadith of Abu Hurairah, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تقبل صلاة من أحدث حتى يتوضأ. Anybody who has broken his wudu cannot pray until he repeats his wudu. Also, there's a hadith in which Prophet ﷺ says, مفتاح الصلاة الطهور وتحريمها التكبير وتحليلها التسليم. The key for the salah, to opening the salah, is the wudu. And you enter the sanctuary of the salah by the takbir, and you leave the salah by giving the salam. Okay? So you're between the two, you're in a different state, you cannot be talking to people, so you're totally isolated from people during that time. There's a hadith I'd like to mention it to you. مصعب بن سعد رضي الله عنه قال دخل عبد الله بن عمر على ابن عامر يعوده وهو مريض. A man, his name was Ibn Amir, and this man was a ruler over Al-Basra. It's a city in where is Basra? In Iraq. So Ibn Umar went to visit him. This man was sick. So the man said to Ibn Umar, can you please make dua for me? So Ibn Umar, and Ibn Umar is doing the right thing. He's going to visit him. But at the same time, he stated the facts to this man. He said to him, can you please make dua for me? He says, قال إني سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لا تقبل صلاة بغير طهور ولا صدقة من غلول وكنت على البصرة. So he recited the hadith to him. You might think the hadith has nothing to do with what he was asking. The man is asking Ibn Umar to make dua for him. So Ibn Umar goes on to give him a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He says, Allah will not accept a salah without ablution, بغير طهور, ولا صدقة من غلول. And Allah will not accept a sadaqah, a charity, if somebody has basically stolen some money. Ghulul, to steal from ghulul normally applies to stealing from the spoils of war, but it applies to anybody, sorry?
Cheating, sorry.
Yeah, anybody who's placed in a position in a government. What do you call that when he?
Under the table or something.
Pilfering.
It has a name to it. When somebody in embezzlement, yes, embezzlement, yeah.
Oh, it's a heavy one.
Yeah, when somebody because he's in a position of authority, he tries to take from the treasury of the government, or takes from the money he's entrusted with. That's called ghulul. Okay. He says Allah would not accept somebody giving charity out of unlawful money, such as that money that is stolen. And then he said to the man, and you were a ruler over Basra. So as if he's giving him admonition that you were in a place of authority and you probably took some money that's unlawful to you. What is he advising him to do? Because basically he's implying that my dua will not benefit you. You have to make tawbah first. You have to correct what you're doing, because not everybody is eligible for the dua to apply to them. Yani, you can make dua as much as you want, but if that person has not shown Allah that he's eligible for that mercy, it will not happen. Prophet ﷺ used to make dua that he wanted one of those strong tribesmen, Umar ibn Khattab and Amr ibn Hisham, Abu Jahl. He wanted one of them to embrace Islam to strengthen the status of the Muslims. So he was making dua for them. He says, "Oh Allah, support Islam with أحد العمرين or أحب العمرين إليك, the most beloved to you of these two men, or the best of these two men." And Allah chose who? Umar ibn Khattab, while Abu Jahl went to the fire of hell, correct? So he was making dua. He wanted one of them to enter Islam, or both of them if they were eligible, but Allah accepted the dua of the Prophet ﷺ on one of them and not the other one. So he's advising him you have to make tawbah, you have to correct your way with Allah. Otherwise my dua and your dua will not be accepted. You have to correct things first. Now then they talk about fara'id al-wudu. Fara'id al-wudu. How much time have we gone?
I started late because I forgot.
No, I have put it 11 minutes 26 seconds.
Okay, good. He's taking over your position.
I'll give it to him.
Actually, he didn't bring his phone out, so I thought maybe.
Okay, so fara'id al-wudu are the obligatory acts in wudu. You can find some books calling it fara'id al-wudu. Some books will call it wajibat al-wudu. Same obligations, fara'id. Fard or wajib is the same. Some books will call it arkan al-wudu, the pillars, the cornerstones of wudu, okay? And that's for wudu. All these three terms apply to the same thing. When it comes to salah, it's a little bit different. Arkan al-salah are different from wajibat al-salah. So in every act, you have to look for shurut, the conditions, the preconditions to do that. Then you have to look for arkan, which are the essential core parts of that act or act of worship. And then you have the fara'id or wajibat. Those are synonymous. Fara'id or wajibat, those are equal. And then you have sunan. Then you have sunan, which is the sunnahs that apply after that. And then at a lower level, there's something called adab, maybe etiquettes, okay? But those are the levels of importance. because the condition is even more important. You cannot do something without having the condition of it, right? So try to think of a condition, a precondition for making wudu. Try to think of a precondition for your wudu to be accepted.
We should not be in a state of janaba.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then no one ever thought of this one. When I read in the books, I never read this one. No, it's not really a condition, you know. The conditions are like al-Islam. You have to be a Muslim first. Okay? If you do wudu 1,000 times, it's not accepted without Islam, correct? These things like this. Yeah, Islam is one of them. Another thing is that you shouldn't have any barrier between your skin and the water. For instance, women who have nail polish, they have to scrape this off. If you have a film that is not that blocks the water from reaching your skin, that's not permeable to water, then your wudu will not be accepted. These are the kind of conditions. Al-aql, somebody has to have his mental faculties. He has to be sane for the wudu to be valid and accepted, because otherwise there's no obligation on somebody who is insane in Islam. There's no obligation to do wudu on somebody who is not a Muslim. It will not be accepted from him. He has to embrace Islam, then make the wudu, and so on. These are the preconditions, but they're a little bit obvious. But yes, you can make wudu if you're in state of janaba. Wudu is part of the janaba. When you do ghusl of janaba, what do you do first? You do the wudu first, right? So and then you have that. After that, the fara'id. We may leave the fara'id till next time. I like to make the classes a little bit short. So fara'id are the obligations of the wudu. They're also called arkan or wajibat, and we will leave them till next time. Okay, stop here. Yes.
Why in the Quran why starting for the face?
Exactly. He says why in the Quran the order for the wudu, the ayah in the wudu starts with the face, because there's a sequence, there's an order of one of the conditions, one of the wajibat, not conditions, but one of the obligatory acts in wudu is to do it in order, and the face is number one in order. That's the number one, to wash the face. You're going to tell me, but no, we wash the hands first, right? No. Washing the hands first is the sunnah. فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. The face is the first obligation. But from the sunnah we learn that we do the hands first. If somebody, for instance, came and started to make wudu like this, the mouth and the nose and the face, that will be a valid wudu still. He has missed the sunnah, but the wudu is valid, okay? Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And of course, there's order as well. Somebody had a question.
So, brother, I see one time a brother, he made tattoo.
Yes.
He became Muslim.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, did you talk about this to the Imam? And for sure, Iman is between us and Allah Ta'ala, right? So I said, like it's hard for me to take out and this and that. I said, yeah, but when you pay for it, it's suffer, right? You make tattoo.
Yes.
To take out. So what is advice for?
Yes. No, I will have to look this up, because even when you try to take it out, it never comes out 100%. It still leaves a shadow behind it, and it really looks much more ugly when you have you seen somebody who tried to take a tattoo out? No, you've never seen. You will still have the color. I've never seen somebody who was able to take a tattoo out completely. It's almost like the skin even looks a little bit.
Snake.
Sorry? Yeah.
Snake skin.
Yeah, exactly. I will have to look it up if he's obligated, because the haram is to do the tattoo. The haram is to do the tattoo for a Muslim. But now it's there, okay? Is he obligated to take it out or not? That we'll have to look into, because taking it out will make his skin, it's almost like a mutilation. It will make it look even worse than the tattoo being there. So we'll have to look this up.
Even some brothers, like they were un-Muslim.
Yes.
So they make tattoo, then they became Muslim. You understand what I'm saying? So in this case.
Yes, exactly. No. We'll have to look it up. Another person just recently asked me the same question. I said I'll look it up, and I never did. But we'll look it up, inshallah.
Take it off at
Okay, we'll stop here.
That's the best solution.